Hey, it's Mr. X Irish here with another battle gameplay. Here we find ourselves at the Battle of Turin, outside of Turin, Italy. We find the French Republic battling up against the Austrian Empire. Leading the French today is going to be Napoleon Bonaparte, and leading the Austrian forces today is going to be Isidor Krutzenberg. They do not actually have a general on the field, but he is their highest ranking unit, so he will be the general, Isidor Krutzenberg, for the Austrian forces. The Austrians have been chasing, or just not chasing, but just been kind of pillaging around northern Italy for the past turn or two, going from a vineyard to a college and just demolishing or damaging that building, and then finally, every time I would try to battle them, they would just run away. So finally, I kind of trapped them around Turin, and hopefully I will defeat their army here and force them to either retreat back to Austria or just capitulate. Maybe a peace treaty, but I doubt that. They do have more soldiers than me today. They don't have a general, but they have some artillery. We'll go and we'll look at them later. Today, I have 3 units of artillery, 12-pounder, another 12-pounder, and an 8-pounder. What I'm doing here is I'm going to take these 2 hills and put artillery on them. I'm bringing the 8-pounders to go right about here from this line of sight, and the 12-pounders are going to go right about here. And then the 12-pounders will have 3 battalions of line infantry behind them, as long as militia. Usually what I do is I like to keep militia behind line infantry, just so that they don't have to face any hand-to-hand combat, because they're not very good at that, but they can just help with volley fire. And then I'm putting a grenadier battalion to the right of the 8-pounders to protect them from any cavalry attack. Over here, I took this little building here with 3 units of militia. I have 2 units of conscripts, which are kind of in between militia and line infantry. They can't form squares. All they can do is just shoot, and they can't skirmish or anything, but they're a little more than militia. They're a little better trained. Then I have 2 units of voyageurs, or skirmishers. I'm putting 1 unit here, and 1 unit is coming up from behind. And then I have Napoleon here as general in between the 2 wings, and I have the guard battalion centered right here. I'll kind of decide what to do with them later. I don't really have reserves today, but I don't plan on making any aggressive infantry advances either. So Austrians aren't really moving at all. We'll take these heights in a little bit. I'm going to fast forward here because Austrians literally don't move at all until I take these heights. So we'll fast forward to that until my artillery take those heights. Alright, my 2 artillery units have finally taken the 2 hills. Things that have happened in the campaign since my last battle: Prussia declared war on me. They took the region of Hanover, which was a victory region for me, so I don't know if I'm going to have to eventually retake that or not, but now they are just bordering my empire on the French Empire, or French Republic technically, right next to Clive's Mark. So I am bordering Prussia now since they took Hanover, and I'm at war with them. The United Kingdom invaded northern France. They totally bypassed Paris. I had I had a lot of conscripts there, so they would have been in defense, and it was like about a 3/4 full army. So they bypassed Paris, and now they're they're just north of Marseille. So that'll probably be the next battle. It'll be between the British, just north of Marseille, or somewhere in that region. I don't know why they just bypassed Paris, or they didn't take any of those northern regions like Cannes or Brittany, but they didn't. Other than that, nothing's really happened. Other than that, I haven't declared war on anyone else, or broken any alliances, or made any alliances, but the main thing is Prussia did declare war on me. But they are also at war with the United Kingdom, so I think they're too busy right now to make a full-scale invasion of the French territory. I'm also going to move this artillery unit right about here to just bring more shelling to their center. My cavalry today, I have a heavy cavalry squadron. And two other, I have the Heavy Cavalry Squadron, the Regiment of Carbineers, which are about my best cavalry in the game, and some Dragoons. I'll put a full list up of my units right about now. Now we'll take a look at Austrian forces. 3-pound artillery, some Jaegers, line infantry, militia, cavalry, light cavalry, line infantry, cavalry, light cavalry, 6-pounders, light cavalry, or no, just normal cavalry, chevalier girls, light infantry, line infantry, grenadiers, light infantry, and more line infantry. So they have no general, but they have two units of artillery that aren't firing at the moment. They're kind of blocked off by the town, so I'll put a list of their forces up here at the moment. So as of right now, I'm just going to keep shelling their forces until really they make a move. It's their turn to make a move. I'm over here. I'm attacking their 3-pounders with my cavalry, some cuirassiers. So hopefully they just can get out there and force a retreat, or force their cavalry to surrender and then just get out, because I don't want any of these infantry to attack my cavalry. So looks like they're retreating. I'll get my cavalry out of there, probably put them behind this church or something. Looks like they're beginning to make a bit of an advance now. Some light cavalry. Probably open grape shot on them. I'll probably move this militia a little bit, because obviously it doesn't look like there's going to be anything happening in this town, or in this house really. So I'll probably move my militia up to right here behind the skirmishers. Just going to move. I'm also moving my other unit of skirmishers, voyageurs, up here, and I'm thinking about moving them to town halls, so I might move them there. So we got cavalry here. I'm shooting grape shot at them. Hopefully they can reload before they attack. Wow, they really could just demolish my artillery right now, but they're not. Also an advancing unit of light infantry. As you can see, my soldiers are wearing their winter uniforms, or at least the ones I can. Militia don't, but my line infantry have these authentic or realistic winter uniforms that they do, as do my grenadiers. You can see the grape shot there, and then they are retreating. And as you can see, also the old guard is wearing their winter uniforms as well. Very intimidating group of soldiers. They really have their forces concentrated in one prong of attack, so that's good for artillery. So that cavalry attack they did, or not really attack, they just kind of brought them up. They could have really taken out my artillery, so I got a little lucky there. They just have line infantry. They also have 2 units of light infantry, kind of now in this little gauntlet of artillery fire. Especially now with this artillery over here laying fire, it's really wouldn't walk in there kind of and triangulate. They're kind of trapped in a triangle fire if they do attack. I'm just releasing grape shot on these. The grape shot isn't working as well because I am higher than them. And as you can see from this line of angle, the grape shot won't really, it can't curve that much to hit them. So hopefully my grenadiers can attack or defend my artillery from the light infantry. And now I'm just firing grape shot at this light infantry battalion, so that should work. I'm gonna have the skirmishers and conscripts take this town hall now. My cavalry's still over here waiting, and so all my cavalry right now is still just waiting for when they're needed. Just keeping my militia in back. I have 4 units of militia, so I'm just keeping them in back here. They came from when I was in Milan, and I had to make some militia to keep down any protests or insurrection. So I just brought them with when I attacked Austria. Usually with, as I said before, with militia, I just keep them like this. I keep them behind the conscripts so they can't really get attacked, but they can just act as like basically just some extra guns that hopefully won't have to have any actual hand-to-hand combat because they won't do very good in that. Especially cavalry attacks. Militia always lose to cavalry. Looks like they are starting to make a bit of an attack or an offensive in my center to take the town. So that's as far as over here. That's as far as I'm going to move up my troops. I'm going to keep them in town hall. This artillery group is kind of prevented from the fact that they can't. This building's right in the way. They could release more on the grenadier battalions that the Austrians have, but they'll do fine in helping me over here. And already I have some retreating line infantry units. That's not good. Napoleon is still over here. I'm just going to simply put this line infantry unit exactly where they were. I don't know how they lost so. Oh, they really lost a lot of men. But as you can see, that is a 225 unit strong light infantry battalion, so that's very powerful. Light infantry, you know, not good at hand-to-hand combat, but very good at firing from range. So, really, my artillery is the only thing I'm keeping this, my right wing of attack, or defense, I should really say, alive, because all I have is some grenadiers and militia and 2 line infantry units. Let's see what's going on over here. In Town Hall, I have 491 men, conscripts, and unit of voyageurs. And they're kind of fighting over the town center right now. I still have that cavalry unit over here. So my cavalry over here, the dragoons, I believe. No, cuirassiers. I believe I just attacked their jaegers, and they retreated, but their morale boosted back, so they're returning. And I think right now I wasn't really paying attention, so I do believe they kind of get, my cuirassiers kind of get beaten here. Yeah, a full battalion of 188 men in line infantry, probably going to beat them, especially if I'm not paying attention. So back over here, let's see, they're not charging the building yet, or trying to take it. So that's good.
Sir, our general is under attack.
Not really. I'm moving my old guard up just a teeny bit so they can help, but from a distance, so hopefully they don't get hit too bad. I had my dragoons attack a line infantry, or one of the Austrian battalions. I still have my heavy cavalry up here, but I think I might need them soon, so I'm just going to move them up. Especially since my grenadiers are kind of in a high morale, and I see cavalry, and there's kind of troops on all sides, so I'm just going to put them in a square, just so that they can kind of be very defensive and survive. Let's see from down here, because they have, they have Austrians on all sides of them, except back here, so. It's kind of funny, my artillery is in a really good spot, but when they're this close, my artillery isn't as effective, because they're so close that it's like, you can't, fire the artillery directly down a hill. Well, I might move Napoleon over there to boost their morale in a little bit. I took my militia out of this house because they weren't really doing anything. Let's see my grape shot get these cavalry. That was a good shot. That put an end to that cavalry. They're about to hit my skirmishers, which I've already lost over half their men, but they're still doing good. Yeah, as you saw, my cuirassiers over here are retreating, but they do regain their morale in a bit. Let's see what else is going on. Got some Austrian line infantry, more line infantry. And my carbineers attacked their light infantry. So they'll for sure beat the light infantry. I took my dragoons aside. They lost a lot of men, over 30. So hopefully they will kind of regain their composure. And they are retreating. So this offensive is retreating on behalf of the Austrians. So far all they really have is their forces behind the town. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I still have town hall. I'm moving my militia over here so they can kind of help with covering fire. In a little bit I'm going to move my artillery up, because right now this artillery is kind of useless. Well, not right now, because they can still attack that line infantry battalion, but yeah, I'm moving them up right now, like over here, so that they can maybe get a little, some artillery coming down this kind of gauntlet. There's just like 2 Austrian battalions of troops. So other than that, this right wing is looking safe. My Kracers have regained their morale, so I'll have them return. They only have 24 men, but they can still pack a punch if I need it. But they'll really only be used in case of emergency. Austrians also have an artillery kind of aiming down this way, so I'm not going to move my troops up any farther. What else? Right now I'm just kind of having... What's what building? Oh yeah, the Austrians kind of took this little little building here. There's only 31 men in it, so it wouldn't be too hard to take. But they do have some artillery there too I have to watch out for. I'm just kind of using my cavalry here to wipe out the retreating Austrian forces. My dragoons are going to attack this line infantry unit here. I'm moving my line infantry into town here. My other line infantry have gained their morale back, but I'm just going to keep them back there. I don't think I'll need them. And I'm moving my old guard up as well, and I'm going to move Napoleon right behind Town Hall in case they need any morale boost. See what we got going on over here. I told this unit of cavalry to retreat, and so so now this Austrian cavalry chevaliers are just going to kind of chase them, even though they're retreating. Because otherwise they would come into town and probably attack like my militia, and the horses would easily beat my militia. So hopefully probably move the old guard into town to prevent any cavalry attack. Now the Austrian forces have kind of regained their morale, but they only have this part to beat right behind town. So I'm also moving my artillery. As you can see over here, they're moving. They're going to come right about here, so that they can attack them or shell them. My grenadiers are moving out of the square, and they're going to go over here by this wall, as are the militia, and just kind of use this wall to protect the cavalry. These 2 cavalry units are just kind of wait for that. So when these start retreating or the morale starts falling, they'll just attack. I mean, my carbineers still have 72 men. That's a very good cavalry unit. What else is going on? I moved these I'm gonna move these skirmishers into the town hall, because I think it's kind of better to have them in the town hall and have the conscripts out here, because they can actually, they're not very good at hand-to-hand combat, but they are very accurate at long range shooting. Napoleon Bonaparte looking good. Still 27 men in the general staff. Yeah, here comes that chevaliers. I don't want them to attack my voyageurs or my militia. All of these militia probably could defeat 42 horses, but I don't know. Most aren't very good. But that's why I'm going to move my old guard to about right here, and I'm moving those conscripts out, because they can defend a little better against horses. They can't form squares, unfortunately, but they can defend better than militia against cavalry attack. Yeah, you can really see the loss of life here, both on my sides and the Austrian sides, mainly due to my artillery. Battle a little bit in my favor, as you can see by the battle meter down to your left. So with the victory, I'll finally kick the Austrians out of northern Italy, and the closest they'll be, yep, see my square was able to defend from that cavalry attack. The closest Austria will be to me is Austria. Actually, they do have Innsbruck, which is just north of northern Italy. I'll probably siege that town in a little bit. But the only threats right now are really, I'm going to move army back up to Alsace-Lorraine so they can defend an attack from Prussia. And I'm probably going to keep Napoleon in Italy, and he might attack Austria, and I'll probably form a new army because I have some trading ships now that are getting more income, and I have more territories and improved tax buildings and such, so I have more money income. And I'll probably build a new army to... Well, actually, I have an army built mainly of conscripts, but I'm pretty sure I could still be... They have like 3 artillery and some good cavalry units, but it's mainly just conscripts. And they're going to have to battle the British that I told you about earlier, and they're just north of Marseille in France. So I'll have to deal with... That'll probably be... I'm pretty sure that'll be the next battle between the British and southern France. Sending Old Guard to hand-to-hand charge this line infantry battalion. Deutsche Leineninfanterie. I had these conscripts really charge through the entire town. You can see they lost soldiers on the way to attack this artillery unit. And it looks like they'll prevail. Yep, they will. So that's good. But I'm going to move the Old Guard after they defeat this line infantry unit, which I assume they will. Yep, they will. So I'm going to move them up to where my conscripts are, because you can see there's this big line infantry battalion coming, and I wouldn't want the conscripts to face off against them. So there comes the Old Guard. So we kind of have that part of town taken care of. Just really this part. I moved my artillery right here too, so they have a good view. My artillery still has these hills, and they have a pretty good line of sight to attack those troops on the right side, but those ones hidden by the left can't really. And I'll probably charge with my cavalry here in a little bit. We'll fast forward. What else? Can't think of anything at the moment. Saw that grape shot there, in case you missed it, to attack this little Grenadier battalion that's there. Still have 100, still have 89 men, so it's not super strong. My Dragoons still have 38 men. The only units that have retreated this match for me are those Carbineers, if you're not Carbineers, Cuirassiers, if you remember. There we go, play now. If you remember, and also that that line infantry unit of line infantry, but they're back here. So if I do need them, they can come forward. But they only have 60 men, and as you can see, the battle is pretty much won. Just after, all they have is a unit of Felden-Jagot Battalion, and the units in this house, and that foot artillery, some foot artillery soldiers over there. So we'll fast forward here. Nothing much going on. I'm just going to have these Carbineers attack. That was artillery. And the line infantry battalion over there, and the other line infantry battalion. Looks like they're kind of gaining their morale back. Militia will probably be able to... I'm going to move them so they're kind of facing this way instead of at a weird angle, awkward angle. There they go. And I still have the Old Guard here in case that we really need to attack these line infantry battalions.
A glorious victory, sir.
Glorious victory. The unit of soldiers that were in this house, I just kind of shelled them for a little bit, and they retreated. I'm going to move this artillery up to here. I'll just keep those soldiers in the town hall for now. And I think that one force is the only one left, so I'm just going to attack them with cavalry. So after that, that should bring the battle to an end. And it will. So that is the Battle of Turin. Sorry, Turin. I don't know why I said Turin. The Battle of Turin in northern Italy. We'll look at the unit statistics here to find the unit battle unit of the day based on amount of kills. That comes up. Here we go. They had 100 more men than me. I only suffered 750 losses, and they almost achieved 2,000 losses. Let's see who the 260 kills, 236. And it looks like once again the 1st Regiment de Cabernet has won the battle unit of the day with 260 kills and only 20 losses. So they are the unit of the day. So in that is a victory for Napoleon Bonaparte and the French Republic against the Austrian forces under Isidore Krutzenberg. That forces the Austrians out of northern Italy and kind of puts a buffer zone between any future conflicts between, I shouldn't say buffer zone, but kind of shouldn't, unless an Austrian army attacks soon, there really shouldn't be another Austrian confrontation in a while. It's probably either going to be British, as I said, or Prussian. So other than that, this is Mr. X Irish. Thanks for watching, and I'll have a new video up soon.